Hello again, this is Bill from Read the Factory Manual. We have a special car today. This is, why the heck is this one special? Well, this one is special because this is the first car I purchased when I decided to start this hobby. This is a 1953-1954 MGTD. It's a Matchbox number 19. And it is an old car, 53, 54. I think this is more of a 54 because it's a cream color. There's some other little things that caught my eye about it. Obviously, the previous owner liked red more than they liked the cream color, so they painted it red. And I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video, in that I'm going to let you know about the time frame it takes me to get these cars done. Because when I first started doing this, when I was watching all the videos from all the great people out there, I thought, well, they got all this done in 17 minutes, or they got all this done in a day. And yeah, you could probably get this done in a day, but it really takes a lot longer than that. So this is how the car came from the eBay. I bought this as one car, not as a lot. I have learned that you should buy your Matchbox cars in a lot with a bunch of cars. I also picked up the little guy, so he came in, and so now I have a driver for my car, so that is good. I'll paint him as well. I think I'm going to try to do this one as a more on the restore side than on the custom side. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is take off the wheels on this car because I need to clean up these axles. They're rusted pretty well. Not really well, but they're, they show some signs of rust. So we'll get the axles off of here, and then we'll get the tires off. The tires are metal tires. We'll get those off. They're in great shape. And then we'll get the paint matched and the paint stripped. And then that should be enough for tonight. Let's get started on that. Let's see if I can get these off without doing much damage. Look at that, look at that. Alright, that is out. Now I'm going to get that spare tire out of there. Alright. Look at the detail on this thing. Zoom in and take a look. Oh, we need to be right there. Look at the detail on the back of this. It actually has the straps right here for the luggage. It's amazing. I'll see more detail after we get it stripped and primed. That's when you get to see all the detail. So we will do that in a little bit. But first I need to match that color. So let's get that figured out. I'm going to take my parts and put them in my bin. My notes. Alright, I'm going to need white. And I'm going to need this cream color here. Alright. Some white in there. Going to get a little bit mixed up because I don't know how long it's going to be since from the time I mix this to the time I paint. So I want to get a little bit mixed that works because if this dries out, I'm still okay. I can make that paint from this again. A little bit more, I think. A little lighter. I think it'll be okay. Yeah. And when it dries and gets clear, it'll get a little darker. So I think I got the color where I want it to be. Yay. Yay. Already starting to work its magic. Alright, here we are from the paint stripper. We got all but maybe 3% off of that. Quite a bit. Took a couple rounds, but I got it. I'll get the Dremel out with the brass brush first. Alright, so I got the metal and the brass. Try the brass first, it's less abrasive. Okay, working on that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how it looks. Alright, we're working on the wheels now. I found a good way to do that. These are metal wheels, these aren't the plastic ones. So I put them on a toothpick. Put them on a toothpick, and then away we go. We have the car polished up. Looks great. There is a few casting lines that I'm going to get rid of. Right here in the front. In this area right here. In here. I'll get those filed off. Everything else looks good. And I don't have a problem removing casting lines. Because my thought is if Mr. Odell, he's probably the guy who designed this little car, if he had his druthers, he'd probably not want those casting lines in there either, but he just probably didn't have, they probably just didn't have enough time on the assembly line to make that work. If you're interested to know more about these cars, a good resource to look at is actually Moss Motors. They sell the parts, refurbished parts, remanufactured parts for these cars still. So you can go on to mossmotors.com and take a look at all the parts that make up this real car, and they also have some interesting history about these cars as well. So if you're interested in that sort of a thing, that's a good resource to go to. I learned about that site when I was redoing my Austin Healey Sprite. In fact, I have a Austin Healey Sprite Dinky toy that I'm going to be painting the same color as the Sprite that I used to have. So if you're interested in that sort of a thing, hit that subscribe button down below and right down here. Then you'll know when I redo that car, and that would make me happy if you subscribe. Alright, while you were gone, I made some decisions on the car. Sorry I didn't consult you beforehand, but oh well. I went ahead and drilled out the hole on the other side so that it's an American import now instead of a British. It's a British import car now instead of a car that was driven in England. So now it's driven in the States. So the driver will be on the other side. I found some photos of a car here. Here's one of those photos. And I think I'm going to make this look like that car. I also found out that this part in the back is actually the fuel tank. It is not the trunk. It's a fuel tank. So I'll have to make that look like a fuel tank again and do a little silver on the top, so on and so forth. So there's the car. I've gone ahead and cleaned it up. I removed some of the casting lines on there, and so it's ready to get painted. The little guy, little driver, I cleaned him up a little bit. A little bit more cleanup I think is involved to get him to look good. I did want to prime him to see what he looked like. Let's see what kind of adjustments I need to make on the driver. The wheels, I'm going to make the wheels look like the wheels on the real car. So I'm going to leave the inside of the wheel silver, but I'm going to paint the tire portion black, because that's what I want to do. So that's what we're going to do now. Oh, that's a lot of paint. That's going to look like what it's going to look like when they're all done. And I'll clean up the guy a little bit, and I'll paint him to look like a guy. Yay, it covered. Alright, welcome to day 3 of this rebuild, custom, resta, whatever we want to call this thing. I've got the car painted, as you can see. Came out okay. I did not need to mix more paint, which is always a good thing. The plan is to get the seat painted, because the paint I have is a flat paint. I want to get that in there, and then I will clear coat it, and then we'll come back with the chrome. So that is the plan. I don't know why I tell you the plan, but it seems to make me feel better when I do that. Because it's a couple days between, and I got a couple cars between, and all sorts of stuff. Alright, we'll do a little bit of this. That looks good. It's amazing how much red is in Matchbox cars. I like the way this brush is. It's going to take 2 coats. Now, the picture that I saw of this car online, it had a brown wooden dash. So I'm going to make one of those too, because I'm feeling it. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, chocolate. There we go. The dashboard is done. Looking now at the backs of the car. In the back of the car, this piece right here is the color of the top. I think I'm going to do that in a light brown. All the purists have probably stopped watching and started commenting by now. We will see. I'm talking about the Matchbox purists, because car I've done some modifications to. Because it's my car. I can do what I want with it. Alright, so this piece here is a brown, which is the top. And after another coat, it'll look even better. Doesn't look too bad now, does it? Just a little bit around, like it's, you know how the tops, they snap them down to the sides. That's what I'm trying to accomplish right now. Yep. Alright, see that? It's a little bit on the sides, not much. Get a little, one more pass on the top. Should be done. We have made it to assembly of this great little Matchbox number 19A MGTD. And you can see I did my normal job of doing a lot more paint, a lot more detail, and modifying it up a bit. I changed which side the driver's on, did a whole bunch of other stuff. Can't wait to read the comments on this one. And so let's get it back together. This is a crimp-on type, so I'm going to need my pliers to get this to work. Let's find the good sides of each wheel and make sure those are on the outside. Like that side, like that side. Okay, I'm going to have this facing that direction on the wall. And I want these wheels be like that. It does look pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. And then we'll squash. You squash your head. I think that did it. Yep. Let's get this tire in the rear, spare tire in there, because we don't want to go anywhere without a spare tire. Alright, that is going to need to get glued. And then finally, put in our little guy. Oh. There we go. The Matchbox MG number 19B. Or 19A, not B, A. B was the MGA. This is the TD. So here's the car, here's how it looks. Let's take a look at the before. You see the before, the previous owner thought red was a better color than the cream color, so that person went ahead and painted it red. You know, it was their car at the time. They could do whatever they want to it. They probably had a heck of a good time playing with this car. This car was made in 1953 or 1954. I'm thinking probably 1954. And so here is the after. You can see now I painted it the original color. I color matched it from the other color, the cream color that was underneath it. I went ahead and embellished it with a bunch of details on it. I painted the seats red. I've got the guy in there. I moved him to the other side and painted him. And we did the front in chrome with a nice chrome grille, and painted the lights and painted the tires black. I think it looks really, really good with the tires black and the original metal for the rims. Well, I hope you liked watching this restore, not a restore, but a custom of this great little car. This was the first car I purchased off of eBay. and I've since learned a lot in trying to find cars to redo, and you should buy a bunch of cars instead of one car at a time if you're thinking about getting into this and getting started. But so there you go. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button twice. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button so that I can make that magical 1,000 number. That would be wonderful. So go ahead and hit that for me. If you have any other YouTube's account, log into those and subscribe. I can use all the subscribers I can get at this point. Once I get past 1,000, I promise I'll stop begging for subscribers. We'll just go for the likes and the comments. So there you go. Thank you, and have fun.